Right now is a great time to do the pruning of deciduous trees and shrubs. And in this case, it's a vine, it's the wisteria, and we need to prune it back a little bit. So we'll just get it out of here. And any of that kind of pruning is done during the months, usually of November, December, January, and February. Now, you'll notice also that some of these perennials are pretty well through. So let's just take a minute and cut them back to the ground. Actually cut them back about 2 to 4 inches from the ground. And the main thing is to get the foliage away here, because that can be a place for the incubation of insects and diseases. This is a chrysanthemum here, and I'll cut it about 2 to 4 inches from the ground. And the astilbe I'll cut just a little bit closer to the ground at this time of the year. Now they disappear completely. That does not mean the plant is dead. They just disappear. Oops, I didn't quite get all this foliage. We want to do that. Here's another chrysanthemum, so we'll do the same thing. And by the way, when these come up in springtime and are about that high, we cut them halfway back to the ground. That's on the chrysanthemums, so that they'll bush and become much nicer plants. This is one of the decorative grasses, and some are evergreen and some are not. And it's best on those that are not to cut them right back to the ground as well. You know, about 2 inches or so. Now, this is pretty well through flowering. So what I'm going to do is to cut it back as well, right to the ground. See how much better that makes things look too by getting them cut back a little. And there's some branches here that have fallen from the trees. And I should mention also that we have thinned the trees so that the air can flow through them as well. So this is a good time to do that. This is one of the sedums, and I'm going to cut it right back. And as I cut it back, I can see down below here new growth starting for next year. So I don't want to in any way damage that, but we'll cut above like so. And that really makes that look a lot better. And here's another one of the decorative grasses. And this is a variegated variety, in fact. And I'll cut it back as well. So see, already I made a major difference in this bed. There's a few evergreen boughs down. Now this is an evergreen grass, and so is the Festuca glauca. So those I will not touch. Those will remain intact. The only touching I would do is if they needed some shaping. And then moving over quickly here, if the rhododendrons need pruning, it can be done now. But why not let them bloom and enjoy the blossom and then do the pruning as soon as they're finished flowering? But get busy, get the pruning shears out. Now's a good time to prune.